Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Disney Lorcana video, and today we have another market watch for you, where we're going to be looking at some cards that are moving, some cards maybe that are good buys right now, maybe some cards you should be selling. If you like these types of videos, please like and subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out. And without further ado, let's hop on into it, right? So we're going to start off with Strength of a Raging Fire. Just wanted to point out that every version of this is money. This card is played in almost every steel deck. I think it's going to be a staple in Coconut. Anything steel is going to want to run this. It's popular in song decks. I mean, it's just used everywhere, right? So just want to point out that all versions of Strength of a Raging Fire have slowly been creeping up. And I'm going to kind of explain which version I think you should be buying, right? So this here's the Rise of the Floodborn. This is the original one. Right now, it's up to about $3.50 to $4 a copy. You will notice, though, that the cold foils are not much more. Like, you can get a cold foil for almost the same price. And then the Fabled one is a little bit more expensive, which actually makes sense to me, even though it's the newer version. Fabled is the much harder set to get into. These ones are actually pushing more in like the $6 to $6.50 range. So I would say if you have Fabled copies and Rise of the Floodborn copies, I would be selling your Fabled copies at the higher price and then use the other versions in your deck. But if you're actually looking to buy Strength of the Raging Fire, I wouldn't buy either of these. I would actually be picking up this really cool foil promo. The foil promo is pretty much the same price. It's actually cheaper than the Fabled base copies at $4 to $4.25 to $4.50. So if you're looking for Strength of the Raging Fire, I think the promo version's the nicest looking copy. That's what I would be picking up for my deck. And then I would just be selling off my Fabled copies because it's all the same card, you know, so just get more money while you can, right? Next, I want to look at Scrooge McDuck. So this is Scrooge Reformed Ebenezer. I noticed that this guy has been climbing. The volumes of sales on this guy are just like kind of crazy, like very, very high volume of sales. But you can see here in June, this guy was $1.60, $1.70, and is pushing up into the $4 range very healthily. Now, something I've pointed out on previous videos is when recent spikes happen, sometimes the cold foil value doesn't catch up to it. So what I wanted to point out to you guys is if you're looking for some Scrooge Reformed Ebenezers, I would actually pick up cold foils. If we go here, whoops, sorry, wrong page. Let me go back. Oh, I got rid of my page. Let me filter to cold foil. So right now, like $3.50 to $4 for regular. If we filter this to cold foils are like the same price. So like $3.88, $4.15, $4.30, $4. So if you're going to be paying the same price, you might as well be picking up some cold foil copies of this. So I just wanted to point out that if you are looking for Scrooge McDuck right now, I would be jumping in and grabbing those cold foils, right? We'll also just show you that the Enchanted has been a $150 card, but I do want to point out that somebody does have a light play for 118 right now. So that's like the lowest this guy has been in a really long time. Getting it down to 118. It is a light play copy. But like, he hasn't been this cheap since before, you know, the summer boom of Lorcana. So, I mean, this might be the cheapest you're going to be able to get one for a while if you're looking for an Enchanted. Just keep in mind it's not going to be a gradable copy, but if you want it for a deck or want to just keep it in a binder or something like that, 118, not bad. And this is an absolutely gorgeous card out of Winterspell. So just wanted to point that out while we were talking about Scrooge. There's the cold foil page I was looking for earlier. I just had it out of order. I also wanted to point out, just on that same note, looking at Mike Wazowski. Now, Mike Wazowski, his price has been fairly consistent. Like, he's been pretty much a $4 to $5 card since he came out. I think he dipped down to like $3.50 at one point, but he's rebounded nicely. People are starting to realize how good this card is. And I was calling it very early on, right? It's kind of the same as like the Daisy that lets your opponent like flip the top for a character. It's that same effect where it's like, it feels like it's helping your opponent too much. But if you're playing Mike Wazowski in the right deck, it's going to help you way more. And sometimes with Mike Wazowski, if your opponent is playing a song deck or something with a lot of actions, they'll brick on it a lot and you just get pure advantage. This guy essentially is just a really nice draw engine. Now, the reason I wanted to bring up Mike Wazowski is because this is one where he's selling a lot. He's up to $4 to $5, but the cold foil is really close in price. Like, you can get cold foils for $5.60 to $6. To me, I would rather pay the extra dollar or two and just get cold foils of him. I feel like it's an instance where the cold foils should be separated a bit more. I would expect a cold foil of like a $10 or like a $5 card. I would expect the cold foils to be closer to like $8, $9, $10. So I just feel like these are kind of undervalued as cold foils. So if you want some Mike Wazowski cold foils, I think now's a good time to be picking those up. I want to bring up this Boo epic from Attack of the Vine. This is one that has just been on a downward spiral. So this could be a good time to pick up Boo if you want to get it. On release, this kind of was in the $10 to $12 range and has just consistently been plummeting. And this is through sales, right? Throughout this entire dip down, you're seeing that there's consistent sales throughout this. So the amount being put on the market is outweighing the sales to the point where it's still dropping in value, even though it's consistently getting sales. So you can get this Boo Epic now for about $4 to $5. Maybe not a bad pickup point if you want to foil out your deck with these epics, right? I want to point out this Tinkerbell. So this is the Enchanted promo from Set Champs, right? Now, I just want to point out that this is actually kind of hitting a decent buying point right now. Right now, you can get this Tinkerbell for about $35 to $40, but there's a couple here on the front, some light plays at $30 to $35, which I don't think are the worst pickups. If you haven't seen this card in person, this is an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful card. And as we've seen from the Woody Set Champ, Modern Set Champ Enchanteds can still have a lot of value. Like the Woody is at 100 right now. Now Woody is kind of like the double-edged sword because it is extremely playable, so I get that. But this Tinkerbell is just got some really gorgeous artwork. I think is a great collectible card that you'd want to own. This person with the light plate has 3 of them at 35. So you're really safe to pick up one of these. I think they're going to be here. You know, you probably have a few days to figure it out if you want to buy one, but maybe not after this video. We'll see how many people actually watch it. But I think 35 is a great price to get it at. If we look at Tinkerbell sales data, right? Like look at all of these in the 40s, and these are near mints, right? But it wasn't that long ago. If we load sales here, I mean, they were selling in the 60, 65, 65, 60. I mean, this is mid-July, right? This is like 2 weeks ago. This card was in the $60 range. So, I mean, unless you want to gamble that they're going to go down even cheaper, which they could, but this is a card that like all of these promos have been given out, right? So it's not like people are going to go to stores and get new packs to be able to list more of these. It's just a matter of people that already own them, how many of them are going to be listing, right? So I would just say this is the type of card that I would probably get sooner rather than later. If I think as a long-term collectible, there's no way this thing's going to be less than 35 long-term. Like a year from now, I cannot see this being $35. So I think you're really safe to be picking this up. And I just see, because of the recent boom, this has dipped enough where I think 35 is a really nice spot to be picking this up. Once again, very pretty, beautiful card. Not surprising that these are all light played because these singleton promos typically come out of the pack light played, so it's pretty hard to get them near mint. Odds are these light plays are probably going to be just as nice as what these people are selling at 40 for what they're calling near mint. So I would just say secure a copy of this. You're not going to regret it. Very beautiful card. I think 35 is a good buying point. Let's shout out some big dogs here. I just want to point out Buzz Lightyear just because, you know, Lorcana, some things have started to cool off a little bit, but I just want to point out that I feel like Lorcana is still going strong and that this Buzz Lightyear actually has 2 recorded sales in August. Somebody sold one for 22 and another one for 3,000. So this Buzz Lightyear, his price point is legit. People are willing to buy this guy in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. We have had 2 sales in August. So just shouting out Buzz Lightyear for being a dog, right? He's just a bad dog right now. He's a $3,000 card. Look at that Buzz Lightyear. I want to point out Elsa Ice Artisan. We just talked about this in my last video. I said light play for 500 is an insanely good price. Of course, somebody scooped it up. If we look here, the 500 light play did sell on the 3rd, so 2 days ago. Another near mint sold for $650, and then there was, once again, I pointed out in my previous video, a really lucky person got at $535. But I do think this Elsa Ice Artisan is just going to be swinging back up. There are still copies at $650, quite a few of them, but I would say I wouldn't really be sitting on this card too long. I don't think it's going to rebound like the Pooh and Piglet. We pointed out that Pooh and Piglet had gotten down to about 600. Right now, lowest listed on Pooh and Piglet's 950. So I'm just saying that I confidently feel that this Elsa is also a $1,000 enchanted. So you might want to think about picking up a near mint copy for 650. Just want to shout that out again because I think she is on the rebound. I want to bring up this Cinderella. Somebody actually commented on one of my videos. It was either there or in the Discord, but they just wanted my opinion on this card. And this is a card that like really super boomed. So this was like about a $230, $250 card. Boomed insanely. Actually, for a short minute, it's not showing it on the chart, but I think these were selling at like $1,000. Like these went insane. We can see how far back. Yeah, we can get here. There's a bunch at 700s, 800s. If I go, I don't know if any actually sold in the thousands, but that's what people are asking. I don't know that I see any sales here. It looks like the highest any sold for were like 800, which is still crazy for this card. My opinion on this card is right now it's at about 450 to 500. I still think this is overvalued. I think this one's a little too high. I think Whispers, they do have some like really good card effects on their enchanteds, but they're still very dark. I find these to be of the modern like fabled, post-fabled enchanteds. I think these are actually my least favorite. Cinderella being a Disney princess, very good collectible character. I see this personally, I think this should be more like in the $300 range. I think 450 is high for this, in my opinion. And if I were out buying, like if I was out looking for a Cinderella Enchanted, the one I would actually be picking up is this one. The Ballroom Sensation from Rise of the Floodborn. To me, it's just nicer looking artwork, way more beautiful card. I like the enchanteds that are brighter as opposed to dark. This is the top of the set of Rise of the Floodborn, right? Which I know some of these sets are still out there. They're still like kind of the cheaper sets you can buy and get into. But eventually Rise of the Floodborn is just not going to be on the market anymore. It's going to be hard to get. I think this is safely going to always be the top card of the set. And this thing has so many things going for it. One is it's Cinderella, collectible. I think it's the best artwork out of any Cinderella Enchanted. But the other thing is this card has like a legacy within the game. As in Ballroom Sensation is like the staple of Steel Song. Like this and Ariel's Spectacular Singer, these are like the foundation of Steel Song. And so this card just has a legacy within the game. I could see people wanting to pick up a singleton copy of this for a coconut deck. I just think it's such a great card in the history of Lorcana. To me, I would rather have this as my collectible, and you're going to be getting it at about half the price, right? You can pick up light plays at $225 to $230, near mints at $250. So at half the price, I would rather pick up and invest in 2 copies of this rather than one of the Whispers copy. That's just me personally. If you like the Whispers one more, that's totally fine. I actually used to own this card, and I did end up selling it. It wasn't gradable. I ended up selling it, unfortunately, just before the boom, so I wasn't able to get like 700 for it. I wish I would have held on to it a little bit longer, but I just think this is the Cinderella you want to own. That's just my opinion. And then we're going to end it off here on my boy Potato. Let me make sure I didn't have any. Yeah, my boy Potato. We got to end it on Potato. Just want to point out Potato again. We've talked about him in a previous video, but his price point isn't crazy, but it's just these are consistently just selling tons of potatoes. Every like slice of this chart since it's released, every like 2-day period or whatever is on here, there have consistently been over 100 potatoes sold per period on here. So once again, people are just buying these up in bunches. I think 1 for looking for Launchpad potatoes, and 2 because they just want to collect for the memes. But if we look here, and I'm going to give you a little tip on Potato, you can see here you buy them for 9 to 10 cents. I actually think the last time I did this video, they were 5 cents. So technically this is doubled up in price, which I know like super penny stonking, right? But if we go in here and we look at the data on Potato, you'll see people are willing to buy huge chunks. So this person bought out 100 of them at 25 cents. This person bought out 82 at 39 cents. Now I want you to think about this because right now lowest listed is 9 to 10 cents. People are willing to pay like 2, 3, 4 times the price if they can get large quantities of them. And that's obvious because, you know, on these ones, you've got the $1.50 shipping with it. So this 9-cent card, if you just buy this alone, you're paying $1 something. So sure, why wouldn't you buy large bulks at higher price? The reason why I want to point this out is if I were you, I would be looking through bulk at my locals. I would be hitting up everyone at my locals. Like, I'll trade you for your potatoes. I'll trade you for your potatoes. If you can go to a locals in person where you do not have to worry about shipping costs, anything like that, and they will, like, players will probably just throw you the potatoes. They probably won't even ask you anything for it, or you can just ask for potatoes as a throw-in on end of a trade. But you can almost get potatoes for free if you just talk to players at locals, or say, hey, I'll just throw you this quarter card or something, like some common that they might want for a deck that you wouldn't sell anyways. If you can amass a personal collection of 40, 50, 60 potatoes, you can list them on TCG Player. You could probably list them at like 40, 50 cents, and somebody might just bulk buy them, and then all of a sudden you've got money, right? So this person that had 100 potatoes, they got $25. Like, that's real money, right? $25? Like, that's money. So I just want to point this out so that, like, it's not going to be worth it for me to go on here and sell 5 potatoes, because I'm going to have to list them at, like, even if I list them at a quarter, I get $1.25, whatever. Somebody may or may not buy them. Not a big deal. But if you can amass a large quantity and then list them at 30, 40, 50 cents, like, you can make good money on potatoes. So I just wanted to throw this out to people to say, go to your locals, ask people for their potatoes, look at the bulk. If your store will sell bulk at, 9, 10 cents a piece, if you can buy potatoes legitimately at 9 to 10 cents a piece without paying shipping, you can turn around and sell them at 40 cents a piece, and you can make some good money on it. So anyways, guys, just wanted to leave off with that potato advice. Let me know what y'all think. And once again, liking and subscribing really helps. If you like these conversations and want to talk some more, I do have a Discord listed in the description of my video. Feel free to hop in and join and have a chat with me. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.